Welcome to Mentee Training Session 1 Introduction. Before you begin, make sure you have access to your participant materials for Session 1. There is important information that will be referenced in this session, but is only available in the Session 1 participant materials. I'm Judy Corner, the Director of Consulting for an organization called Insala, and I will be your host throughout these sessions. There are a total of 8 sessions. Most of the sessions will take you about 10 minutes to complete, some a bit more like this introduction, and some a bit less. You may go through these sessions at your own pace, going through all 8 sessions at one time, or possibly going through a couple of sessions, taking a break, and then coming back to complete additional sessions. It's up to you. The best thing about this is that if in the future, if you forget information or a concept from a session, you can always go back and review it. In Session 1, we will introduce some of the basic concepts of mentoring, the terminology and definitions of a mentor, a mentee, and mentoring, as well as a coach and a mentor and coaching and mentoring. In Session 2, we will discuss the phases of a mentoring partnership and specific actions that affect you as a mentee in each phase. Session 3 will cover 2 documents that are vital to the success of the mentoring partnership: the mentoring plan and the mentoring agreement. In Session 4, we will introduce the concept of learning styles. Learning styles are not so much about the content or what an individual is learning, but what is the best way for an individual to receive information so they are able to maximize their learning. Session 5 will focus on the advantages of a mentoring program and a mentoring partnership for your mentor, to you as a mentee, and the organization overall. In Session 6, you will get a look at your job responsibilities, as well as those of your mentor. In Session 7, we will cover some possible challenges that you may encounter, as well as solutions to these possible challenges. Each session will provide tips on how to get the most out of your partnership. But in Session 8, there will be special ongoing tips that can really make the difference in your partnership and your experience as a mentee. Each session will have a similar format and will contain questions to ponder, as well as special tips relating to the session. We strongly encourage you to go through the sessions sequentially, as starting in the middle or somewhere other than the beginning, it's likely to cause confusion or frustration. There are participant materials for each session, which you should access prior to beginning each session. In addition, you will find that each session builds and contains information from previous sessions. The goal of this session is to help prepare you for your role as mentee. It's important that when you finish these recordings, you feel that all your questions have been answered and any concerns you have been addressed. We want you to feel confident in carrying out the role of mentee that you've chosen. This is all about you. As mentioned previously, Session 1 is the introduction to the basics. We'll cover the following topics: terminology. The good news about mentoring is that it's thousands of years old. And the bad news about mentoring is that it's thousands of years old. As a result, it's critical to highlight different perceptions and historical misperceptions regarding what a mentor is, what a mentee is, and what mentoring overall is. It is important that we are all moving forward with a common understanding. It is also important to distinguish between a coach and a mentor and coaching and mentoring. As with all sessions, we will cover tips for assistance as well as questions to ponder. To begin, we believe a mentor is an individual with specific knowledge or experience in a given area of expertise who's willing and able to share that information with another. The two most important words in that definition are willing and able. The willing means that your mentor is committed to spending the time with you and helping you develop in specific areas. The able means that they actually have the skills to be a mentor. One of the historical misperceptions regarding a mentor is that if someone was good at what they did, they'd automatically be a good mentor. Not true. It takes very different skills to be good at doing something than to be able to impart that knowledge to another and help develop them. The role of mentor requires skills in oral communication, relationship building, listening, and so on, as well as in the specific area of expertise. You as the mentee, then, are the individual who seeks or needs specific knowledge or experience in a given area. It's important to understand that you may already have the knowledge that you've gained through some type of education or training, but you need the experience to understand what that knowledge looks like when it is practiced in real-world situations. Mentoring can be described as a relationship between a highly skilled individual and a mentee. Within this relationship, the mentee will gain the knowledge and expertise held by the mentor to fully understand the capacity of the organization in which they are employed. It is important to keep several things in mind about these definitions. Nothing in the definitions explicitly says that the mentor's older than the mentee, the mentor's been in the organization longer than the mentee, or the mentor is at a higher job grade or level than the mentee. It simply indicates that there is an individual who needs development in specific areas, you, the mentee, and a qualified individual that can provide that development, your mentor. There's two additional elements to keep in mind. Number one, this is not just a relationship. This is a partnership. And not only will you learn from your mentor, but your mentor will learn from you. There are many, many examples of comments from mentors indicating that they can't believe how much they learned from their mentee. So we encourage you as a mentee to share your knowledge with your mentor, as well as your mentor sharing their knowledge with you. The second element is that in this program, it is mentee-driven. It's your responsibility as a mentee to drive this partnership. Throughout this program, we will be illustrating specific ways in which you can demonstrate to your mentor that you are indeed driving the partnership. Many times individuals ask, what's the difference between a coach and a mentor, or what's the difference between coaching and mentoring? A coach is a trained individual, whereas coaching is a skill. It's important to make the distinction between the two terms. Many times the term coach and coaching get intertwined. As an example, a manager may be coaching an individual that reports to them, and therefore the manager feels that they are in the role of a coach. In actuality, the manager is using the skill of coaching, but is not in the formal role of coach. Just because you're using the skill of coaching does not make you a coach. If you have had a professionally trained career coach, some of your experiences may be different than the ones listed in your participant materials, but these are some differences found in research. Please take the time to read through your participant materials to review each of these statements as well as the additional explanations of each. Here are some additional tips to maximize your learning and your mentoring experience. More extensive explanations of each of these tips is in your Session 1 participant materials. First of all, take responsibility for your learning. The mentoring program is mentee-driven. It is you, the mentee, who has the developmental needs and seeks the partnership. The first step in taking responsibility for your learning is to complete as many elements of the mentoring plan and agreement as possible. Although it may not be possible to complete every element, it is important that you complete as much as possible, even though you may make changes further down the discussion route with your mentor. Be open about your needs. It's often difficult to admit that we need help. Being honest with your mentor about your developmental needs will help them emphasize the information or components that will help you the most. Next, be enthusiastic. Show genuine interest in participating in the mentoring partnership. Let your mentor know that this is a role that you chose, not one that you were assigned, and you're very excited about it. Review the organization's goals as they pertain to mentoring. Your position as a mentee is stronger when you come to understand how the organization views mentoring efforts and what support you can expect to receive. Establish your personal goals for participation. Successfully completing a mentoring partnership requires effort, both from you and your mentor. To maximize what can be gained from the experience, personal goals should be established that illustrate why each individual wants to be a part of the partnership. Make sure you're clear on the definitions of a mentor, a mentee, and mentoring. Because there's so many historical misperceptions regarding mentoring, be sure that you are in sync with the definitions in this program and not previous perceptions. This is important for consistency in the program and your partnership. And last, if you are in a virtual mentoring partnership, remember this is a great option. Virtual mentoring partnerships are great options for both the mentor and the mentee. It allows individuals that might otherwise never meet the opportunity to interact and learn and develop with each other. At this time, we would like for you to think about everything that we've talked about during this session. Take a moment to review these questions that come under questions to ponder and record your responses in your participant materials. If you need any clarification on any of the information provided here or in your participant materials, or if you have any general questions, please refer to the email listed in the front of your participant materials. Thank you.